make you guys aware of an article that showed up on one of the dying left-wing blogs written by a girl named Melanie McFarland, whom I'm probably going to do some research on just because I want to know a little more about her. But it's called We Can't Afford We Can't Afford to Ignore the Fandom Menace Anymore. They're winning. Hey, Jay. Now, the Fandom Menace they're talking about is, in my opinion, a small group. And, you know, when you start talking to people who subscribe to YouTube channels and super chats and stuff, they have actually lost subscribers. Okay, they're not. They're a big deal in their own little area. They're trying to be Tim Pool, etc., etc. And it's, you know who it is. If you read the article, McFarland basically says who it is. And I'm fascinated because people don't write stories like this in a vacuum. They don't write things like this for no reason. Why is she saying they're winning? Now, Ethan Van Sciver put out there that they're trying to shut Geeks and Gamers down. What they don't realize is that, you know, that's bad. You do not impinge anybody's right to say whatever they want, even if they look stupid saying it. But trying to shut down that group of people is going to make people who really know what they're talking about, like Midnight's Edge, etc., a lot stronger. And this is a group you can't shut up, okay? Because they don't go the places that Geeks and Gamers does. They don't start fights with people, okay? And they'll point out bullshit, but they won't start fights. And you're just going to compound the problem, because those subscribers will come to me. They'll go to Doomcock. They'll come to Midnight's Edge. They'll go to Mr. H Reviews. They'll go other places. Okay, and the anger would be compounded. So why would you do that? They're scared. They're scared. We've got that novel about Lando and Luke. And look, if you've been I think Jay, who's here, will know, remember this. If Craig is here, if Euler Greg shows up, they'll remember this too. I had an idea to fix the sequel trilogy, and it was Rey as Han and Leia's daughter. He was taking her somewhere. She got kidnapped. Okay. And the reason why he never came back is because he's looking for their daughter. Okay. Makes perfect sense. They took Lando, they took my story. I'm the one that came up with it, and they turned it into Lando, which is basically race swapping. Now, why would they do that? Go read the Salon.com article. I have a link on it. I have a link to it. The reason why they would do that is because White Man Bad story group hates Han Solo, and they've got a bunch of activists who hate white people in general, Harrison Ford in particular. I mean, you just go look at the Mary Sue. I mean, go and look. Han Solo's a predator. The shit is everywhere, okay? This is why we get crap like this, okay? And because Lando's a black man, he gets a free pass. Poor pitiful him, right? You know, he probably had one of the most interesting character arcs in Star Wars, if you think about it. But because he's black, he gets to be the hero, where Han, because he's a white man, gets to be the villain. Because Claudia Gray, Pablo Hidalgo, and the rest of this human trash hates him. Okay, so why did this article get written? They're scared. Okay, so you got that book. You've got other people close to the problem bringing up stuff from the sequel trilogy. You've got Molly Damon putting her little tiny fan panel up on Star Wars Explained, hoping that it'll cause people to have intelligent conversations about how Rey changed Star Wars. You know, if you bring up the fact that we had Leia and we didn't need Rey, that Rey is bullshit, you're going to be shot down by these people. And I think we're going to get a thunderstorm. Good, because we need it. Because it's really hot out. They're not going to listen. They don't want to listen. They don't know anything about Star Wars. When you look at this .com article, look at Melanie McFarlane as an activist, reporter. Okay. Molly Damon is an activist. She's not a fan. She's an activist. Claudia Gray is an activist. Justina Ireland is an activist. Pablo Hidalgo is an activist. Okay. He can sit there and get kudos for knowing a lot about Star Wars, but Leland Shee does the same job, and he doesn't treat people like shit. And he doesn't put political messages everywhere and attack people for not liking something. Ultimately, it comes down to this. When TFA came out and World Class Bullshitters was like, this sucks, I was there trying to defend it because I didn't want to think it was bad. Look, I was one of the first people that said, look, if they can do this right, they can fix what was broken. Okay? They can fix what was broken and really make it something really wonderful that works within the Star Wars universe. And Rian Johnson shit all over it. All right, he didn't have any intention of saving The Force Awakens because The Force Awakens needed saving. It really did. I don't care how much money it made. You know, here's the deal. When you have an argument with somebody who's an activist who doesn't know anything about business, they have an MBA in feminazism, and they're crowing about domestic comic book sales. And you look at the numbers, it's like, and they don't understand because they have no concept of money. They have no concept of profit margin, net pay. You know what I mean? What you get back after the government or your vendors take what they're owed. Then you get this instead of this. And it's like talking to a 5-year-old. It's like trying to teach a 5-year-old basic algebra or basic logic. Okay, and I'm talking about if-then questions, logic syllogisms. Okay, they don't understand the basic ideas behind it. Okay, they've never balanced a checkbook. They've never looked at a pay stub and goes, oh, that's how much you're taking out for Social Security. They don't have to. They really don't. They look at their money that goes into the account. They don't look at what was taken out. And there are people out there that like it that way. Okay? And it's fascinating to me because they're going to be lost sheep. All right? So when you try to explain to people that the sequel trilogy didn't work, Bob Chapek knows it didn't work, that the merchandise did not sell, they don't want to hear it. Ray, the bestest ever. Come and watch our fan panel. Then I will take those people to the nearest alleys and dollar stores and show the Ray figures, hundreds of them, gathering dust on pegs before they go to the dump. Okay? Because that's what's going to happen. People don't want sequel trilogy figures. There's going to have to something is going to have to be done to fix it. Okay? And that is the bottom line. They don't want to hear it. They think it's fine. Okay, you got to remember, not everybody reads salon.com. I don't want to. Was it salon.com that Christopher Hitchens wrote for? They would have canceled him. They would have canceled Chris Hitchens. Okay, and he would have hated this shit. He would have, he would have absolutely been horrified by this. He'd have been horrified by the political correctness. Okay, what people like Melanie McFarland do, and Molly Damon and Amanda Ward, and the rest of this human sewage do, is they piss off their fellow leftists to the point where the fellow leftist is like, I can't deal with you anymore. You need help. I'm sick of it. This is wrong what you're doing. You can't do this. Look at Bill Maher. Look at what he's saying about it. Okay. So they're afraid. They're afraid that, for all intents and purposes, this small minority called the Phantom Menace, led by geeks and gamers, is winning. They don't have anything to do with it. They're loud, they're obnoxious, they point out things that are wrong. They're also very wrong a lot of the times. All right, Kenobi, they're very wrong about. All right? And I'm sorry, but the Melanie McFarlands and the Pablo Hidalgos created the Phantom Menace. All right? They created this enemy. But what they don't understand is that the fans that aren't part of that don't want anything to do with it, hate this shit too. And those are the people that need to be addressed. And they're not addressing them. They're trying to smear all of us with the same broad brush. I wouldn't spend 5 seconds with those people. Why? I don't want to be connected to it. My ties to them is through humans. That's it. I don't talk to them. I don't bother with them. And the reason why is because I'm sorry, but when Zack Snyder said that this is, basically intimated that they were a hate group, that is what Hollywood thinks of them. And I don't want that. And literally the next week, Gary's got Alex Jones on his show. Way to go. You don't want to be considered a hate group. And of course, Jeremy's blaming himself, and it's like, no, Jeremy, no. It's not just you. It's every one of you. And Gary then gets literally the worst person in the world on his YouTube channel. They make it very easy for the Melanie McFarlands out there to paint them like that. And that's what this article is about. Now, is it that they're trying to take down the channel? Maybe, but I don't think that that's the reason behind the story. The reason behind the story is this. Okay, listen to me. It is the fact that they're terrified. It comes out after Bob Chapek's contract is renewed. And again, Matt Bellany on Puck going, it's not even renewed for 2.5 years. No, it goes from July 1st, today, hey Joe, to July 1st, 3 years from now. Okay. That's what, all right, so that's 3 effing years. Learn to do math, little SJW. And they're afraid. All right, let's, you guys want to do something with me? Let's find Pablo. Let's see if he's actually said anything. And, All right, we'll check this out first. And if he is, let's see if little Disney NDA has done anything. So he was on just saying a happy Canada Day. So, but he has been quiet. Now, that doesn't mean he hasn't been on Twitter because he's got that private account. So, and he's been quiet other than that for 4 days. So you guys know that the rise of Chapek is getting to them. Okay, and this is going to go across everything. Okay, and it's really interesting to me watching how this is all played out. This is the infinite re, as Culture Casino likes to say. This is the ultimate re. This is the final re. Okay, and we're going to see a lot of stuff. I believe there's going to be quite a few announcements of people leaving in the next few weeks and in the next few months. And again, every time I hear someone say Kathleen Kennedy's the most powerful woman in Hollywood, I just want to go, shut up. Can I ask you guys a question? Put a 1 in the chat. Do you think if Kathleen Kennedy was that powerful that she would have lost and had the children of blood and bone taken away from her? Put a 1 in the chat if you think that. Either way, a 1 in the chat if she's not who she's purported to be, the most powerful woman in Hollywood. 2, if she is, okay? Because I want to know. I want to know what you guys think. I'm always stunned when people say stuff like that because, thank you guys, it's like, aren't you aware of what's been going on? The woman has had everything taken away from her. It goes in through one ear, rattles around, goes out the other. Thanks, Morgan. She's done. I hate to tell everybody. It's over for Ms. Kathy. She is over. All right. And, these people are going to be caught flat-footed. They're not going to see it coming. They don't want to. And I'm just going to sit there and say, I was right, and you guys all owe me an apology. All of you, including Matthew Kadish. Okay. But again, I'm not speaking as someone who worked in Hollywood 10 years ago. I'm speaking as someone who observes it, understands politics, and understands the politics of corporate business. Okay. Again, as Cameron said, they're not going to fire her. Sadly, they're not. Does she deserve to be kicked in the pants like Peter Rice was? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, she deserves to be humiliated. They're attacking. They are? Who is Joe? Who's attacking Christians? Is it Phantom Menace? Or is it Salon? Because if it's Salon, look, the sun rises. That's what leftists do. Okay, they have a religion called abortion. They have and the Holy Sacrament is about abortion. Okay, they have a religion that they adhere to that is nihilistic. It is harmful to people's emotions, and Salon. Okay, and it degrades humanity. Okay, so that doesn't surprise me. And look, this is me when I hear that. Okay. All right, I can't do anything about it. All right, I'm literally like, all right. And when you think about it, when you look at what the Salon article is saying, they're again terrified. Look, Peter Rice got fired, a BFD. A lot of people in the Phantom Menace, bad Chapek, and just say stupid emotional things that, look, in a situation where I had to go around one of these people and outsmart them, it wouldn't be that difficult, okay? My dog could do it. My horse could do it, okay? I know 3-year-old children who are more articulate than some of those guys, okay? What they did was become a very loud voice, all right? And what they did was bring up issues. And I'll give you this is the last thing that's gone on that proves my point. People were complaining that Moses Ingram isn't a very good actress. Now, I think she's passable. Are there better actresses out there? Yes. Okay. But she got the role. Fine. Okay. What went on was because she's black, and I'm going to say this, she was put in that role as explicitly for this. Okay, so people would say, oh my God, they're attacking a black actress, because this is how stupid Salon.com, Molly Damon, Pablo Hidalgo, and the social media moron at Star Wars is. Okay, we can attack the fandom for being racist again. They pull the race card, and they make it worse. And in doing so, hurt Kenobi's numbers. Okay? And deliberately, I think. For some reason. Maybe it's because it's a show with a white ginger in the lead. Or whatever their reasons were. But they did, by attacking the fans and calling all of us racists, hurt Kenobi's numbers. All right? I didn't get into it because I wasn't going to fall for the trap. Greggs, Canal, Beekler, I assume the Quartering, and the rest of these people did. Okay? What are you going to do? You know, you call the fans racist, and the social media person that runs Star Wars media knew what they were doing. Shake a red flag at a bull, and they charged right through it. All right, that's exactly what they did, deliberately. Okay, Phantom Menace fell for it. But they're not racists. They're not articulate. They're not quite exactly a collection of brainiacs, but they're not racist. Okay, you know, you're not going to get the level of discourse you get with Cameron and Andre at Midnight's Edge. You're just not. Okay, and that's what you're going to get. And what is bad is that the general fandom who, you know, doesn't like the sequel trilogy, hates Admiral Holdo, can't stand Rose Tico, la la la, gets smeared with the same broad brush. The fandom that didn't say anything. Okay, this drives people away. Well, yeah, and Doomcock is wrong with that. He needs to change that. I don't know to what, but he needs to start. Hey, Doug. Yeah, see that I'm right. Look at that. Okay, I'm right. And it's become a self-licking ice cream cone. I do too hard work, but they're gatekeepers. They won't allow people to come on who disagree with them. They're not very bright. And it's basically a monolithic thought process with those people. And there's look, they can't talk about anything intelligently with any depth, all right? And it's, you know, again, that's going to come back and bite them eventually, all right? And it did with Zack Snyder, and it did now with Star Wars, you know, baiting them into a fight. The problem is that Salon.com didn't hit what the real issue is. The real issue is this problem was started by Lucasfilm in 2012 after Kennedy took over, which it'll be 10 years in October. And like I said, it's going to be your 10-year anniversary, and I think she's done that. You know, you can sit there and say all you want and, you know, listen to people who haven't been in Hollywood in 10 years and don't realize that the culture has changed and everything. But you're wrong, okay? what is going on here is Lucasfilm created this beast called the Phantom Menace. And what they don't understand is that the anger of the fans isn't that group of guys. It's a bigger group. It's a much bigger group. It wasn't all Phantom Menacers that didn't go to the Rise of Skywalker. It wasn't all Phantom Menacers who refused to sit down and watch Solo. It's not all Phantom Menacers who look at the High Republic and mock it for being stupid, okay? It's a big, big, big population of the fandom that is pissed, disappointed, and angry. And when you say it's the Phantom Menace, you're forgetting all those other people like me, Cameron, and the rest of us. Okay, much bigger population. All right, much bigger. And that population comprises of Democrats, Republicans, libertarians, Muslims, Christians, Jews, atheists, nihilists, whatever. Okay, pagans. And this is why they should be afraid. You're right, Joe. And it is, you're right. This is why they should be afraid. Not about Jeremy Griggs. They shouldn't be afraid of Gary Beegler. He might get 7,000 people in his chat. I wouldn't waste 5 seconds watching that. Because all it is a nerd's circle jerk. Or no, a geek's circle jerk. They're not nerds. They would actually have to be intelligent. It's a geek's circle jerk, and I'm not interested, okay? And they're gatekeepers. And if you can't allow for discourse and, someone to say, hey, I liked Kenobi, I want to tell you why, you're not a Star Wars fan. You're not a fan of anything, okay? You're trying to do the same thing that the SJWs did, and you're trying to form a narrative, and you're forcing people out who don't agree with you, okay? All right? I mean, I've said this before, I'll say this again. You can hate the sequel trilogy. I think Jay would agree with me. Because I hate it more than all those people combined. Nothing approaches the hatred I have for that shit. And the same thing for Solo. And all the and the actors in Solo, I can't stand looking at them. Same thing with most of the actors in the sequel trilogy, but for Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, and poor, bitter, disillusioned Mark Hamill. Okay? I'm one of those people that didn't get counted, and neither are you guys. No, it's not. It's basically, this looks like a call to arms to me. And like I said, Ethan, on his video, said that they're trying to shut down Geeks and Gamers. And it might be, but it's also an admittance to failure. Okay, so this is what I think is going on. With that book coming out about Lando and Luke, and, you got Star Wars Inside the Magic, one of their beta males, going, oh, this makes all the sequel trilogy make more sense. They're trying to save the sequel trilogy. Now, why would they do that? Because it's getting decanonized. That's the only reason why. And they know it. And the people at Salon, Molly Damon, all of these people know it's going away. Either with Ahsoka, or they're just going to ignore it and do Heir to the Empire in some form or another. Okay? But they're going to fix what was broken. They have to. May I remind you that Doomcock did talk about David Zaslav wondering out loud if they should reshoot Game of Thrones, the last 2 seasons. Now, I don't know if they can get the get the actors back or whatever. But think about what that means. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of time and effort. But is it worth to do to save the franchise? Yeah, if they can save the franchise, yeah. Okay. Now, if that's the case, you've got Sun Valley happening. David Zaslav and Bob Chapek sitting at the bar, drinking bourbon and talking shop. Would you put it past Chapek to walk out with a similar notion about the sequels? Now again, worrying about Star Wars and Lucasfilm is like worrying about the shoe department in a department store. Fine. We do Star Wars here, that's what we do. Okay? And it is a big BFD that it hasn't made any money. And the board and Chapek and Susan Arnold all know it. That they have a problem with it. Okay. So they have to do something about it. So they should decanonize what they could do is just decanonize the sequel trilogy and then leave it at that. All right, and then revisit that time period a few years from now. I did want to bring up that the rap article with Taika Waititi in the interview, he says he hasn't worked on a Star Wars movie and that he doesn't know if it's ever going to be made. And people are blaming Kathleen Kennedy. And I'm like, you guys aren't seeing the forest for the trees. Why would he go to... No, I don't think he is. I don't. And if he does, I don't think he and Bob Chapek are going to be smoking cigars together. Okay? They don't see the forest for the trees. Kennedy doesn't have anything to do anymore with the slate of Star Wars films. We know Favreau and Filoni are also doing the feature films. So what's going on here? They're trying to regroup. They're trying to put together a slate that makes sense. And they're probably trying to figure out what to do with the sequel trilogy. Okay? That makes sense to me. And she's in Portugal. You know, again, when I hear people say she's the most powerful woman in Hollywood, I'm like, dude, you're stuck in the past. It was 2018. It's not 2018 anymore. America's on the cusp of a recession. Star Wars, because of her shitty leadership, is in the toilet. Okay? It's not anymore. And Harrison, look, it really pisses me off that Harrison Ford gets dissed by people. And I want people who aren't in the chat, who aren't watching this, to hear me say this. When you put that old broad in a place of mythological fairy tale land, you are giving her dues she's never earned and never had. Okay? All right? You don't know how this works. Harrison Ford is not going to tolerate her bullshit. If you didn't watch Star Wars Celebration, watch it and see the look on his face. Okay? I don't give a flying fuck what fat, balding Nat Kadish says. He doesn't know these people. He hasn't been involved in the film industry in a decade. And he's not, one of the reasons why he failed in Hollywood, because he can't read a room. He doesn't know what's going on. And he's not smart enough to play politics at the level he has to. And I look at him and go, fine, and then ignore him, because that's what should happen. All right, that's what should happen. And when you watch Harrison Ford's reaction to her, it was one of absolute derision. It was one of, will you shut the fuck up? Now, if she was all hail Queen Kathy, he wouldn't have looked at her like that. He's not afraid of her. So who's your daddy? Her or him? You know? I want you guys to think about that. Who in a fight over Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones, is going to win? Harrison Ford or Kathy Kennedy? All right, think about that. And put your answer in the chat, because I'm literally going, I don't even know what you're talking about anymore. This is how dumb that conversation got. I mean, and they believe it. It's like a religious belief. Okay? It's like, all right. Okay, so for the person saying this, okay, if that's the case, why did they push the release date for Indy 5? Well, they had to do reshoots. Well, what about the rumors that showed up in the Daily Mail? Crickets. Right. She lost Children of Blood and Bone. Crickets. She isn't, all of her movies have either been canceled or put off in the development hell, probably never to be made, at least under her purview. Crickets. The Acolyte is in limbo. Crickets. It's gonna start filming in October. No, it's not. It's not. Okay? They're gonna push it back again. They're gonna end up pushing that back to the point where people, look, they talked about it in Vanity Fair, and that was for the Chardonnay and Brie crowd. That was for the club. But the convention, they didn't talk about it. Not even a little bit. Okay? Think about it. Crickets. They need Kathy Kennedy to be there, all powerful, in order to, breathe in the morning. I don't get it. She's not anything more than a figurehead, okay? And there are people out there who know better, who saw her name on Kenobi and got triggered, who saw her at Star Wars Celebration and got triggered. And this is me. Dude, you know better. You know better, okay? I don't care if she's there. It means nothing to me. All right? She means, look, if you still get triggered by crazy, you're the one that needs help. Okay, you need help. All right? And I'm going to sit there and pound it until people understand it. And when she goes, they're going to look really stupid. They're going to look incredibly stupid. And I'm going to go, okay, it has to happen. Disney can't afford Lucasfilm to be where it is right now. And there's going to have to be a massive change in personnel. Okay? There's going to have to be people leaving. And it's going to have to be public. So the people I'm talking about can sit back and go, oh, okay. And then they're going to push the goalpost back. That's all they have anymore at that point. And look, if next year they announce that the sequel trilogy is being decanonized, just decanonized, that's all they have to do. YouTube would shut down. Okay? There's one reason why a lot of these channels grew, and it was over that. And it didn't help, again, that the people, that Salon.com article is defending called people names because they didn't like and I'm going to say this. A lot of the fans that attacked the sequels, and I'm going to say I was one of them, weren't being nice about it. Okay, and even the ones that were nice about it got called names. And that's how you lose customers. And now, I agree with Paul Chato that all you need is one good thing to happen. But again, now, I think Kenobi was great. I don't give a flying fuck if you don't. If you don't, I don't want to hear about it. I'm done. Done. Over. Okay? You don't know Star Wars. You didn't watch it. And if you did, you didn't understand what you were watching. Okay? Look. Star Wars fans are pretty smart. That really love Star Wars, like Star Wars theory. Okay? Blake, it's because, look, Blake, you're missing something. What is the missing problem here? I want you to think back then. Think about Tumblr. Think about when Tumblr shut down the gross stuff and they all came to Twitter. What are you missing? I'm not going to tell you, but I think you know. Okay. And it was a racist thing to do, by the way. It was fucking racist. All right? And I think J.J. Abrams called him out on it. All right? It's just, you know, they want the fans to come back. That's what they're going to have to do is decanonize this. Get rid of it. And not, you know, they can do the world between worlds. And you see Luke, I like Ahsoka, but it's got to be Luke that takes out Palpatine. It has to. And the reason why is because that would be poetic. Young Skywalker, Anakin's son, you know, finally puts an end to this and helps his father's legacy. Okay? All right, Blake, you're not going to answer. You're missing the point. Who was in TFA with his greasy black hair, his broken nose, his mule face, his fish lips? Adam Driver. Who set these stupid girls' hearts aflutter? Adam Driver. Okay? What did they think when he carried Rey away? They could be a couple. Reylo was born. That's why they did it. That's why Rose Tico appeared. Because there's more than one Rey blow at Lucasfilm. Okay? And I'm going to say this. What they did to Finn was a racist thing. But I've seen Reylos say really racist shit about John Boyega. Okay? You know? But that's the reason why Finn got demoted and turned into a token. Is because the stupid suits, Alan Horn and the short guy, Bob the Dwarf Iger, saw potential in Reylo. Now they didn't like it. Kennedy liked it. Well, because there are people at Lucasfilm that wanted it. And it destroyed what could have been great. I mean, I blame the Reylo thing on a lot of people. Oh God, I was laughing so hard, Doug. I was like, that was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. He croaked. He just croaked. And then wrongly disappeared. There's absolutely no reason for him. I mean, the guy is barely a Jedi, let alone at that level. It's like, but it's J.J. Abrams, and, you know, he didn't want to leave any body around because Adam Driver ain't coming back because of the Raylos. Look on my channel, because back in 2018 I said a lot about them, and it wasn't pretty. Okay, they're hideous. They're they're um, their their collective mental illness would scare the shit out of Nurse Ratched. I'm not kidding. I mean, I did one on Raylo art. That shit that I saw that I didn't save would have made Hugh Hefner angry because it was that obscene. Okay, they're just there's something wrong with them, and they got the people at Lucasfilm, like Pablo Zarello, Matt Martin, and there were enough of them, and then they went to Twitter hard work, and they made Twitter intolerable because they wouldn't shut the fuck up, and they wouldn't go away. You know, all you had to do was make her Han and Leia's daughter, and you would have probably at least saved something of this sequel trilogy, and you would have made it make sense. You know, to her to be a Skywalker. But no. Because of Raylo. That's the only reason why any of that happened. Okay? And, you know, 40% reshoots. One of the things in the reshoot was the kiss. And then he croaks. And then we all laughed, and the Raylos all screamed and cried. I mean, one girl actually was, I mean, I swear to God, on Twitter was talking about killing herself. You know? It's a movie. It's a shitty idea. You're insane. Here's a Valium. And then here's a Thorazine drip and a straitjacket. Okay, crazy? You know, so yeah, but guess what? Then it would be over. And a lot of fans who were ambivalent would have gone, okay, cool, now it's Star Wars. You know, and we could have still complained about what they did to Han. But if they made it so he was looking for her and failed and just couldn't go back to face Leia, that is in line with his character, okay? And that's in line with what I think he would have done, but we had to put this bullshit up, okay? Because white man bad, and you know, they hate him. And they turned Finn into a token because of Raylo, okay? And, you know, Kennedy, you know, I'm sure that, you know, there's a rumor out there that Tom was talking about her being put through a struggle session. I'd like to know who told him that. I think the only person that yelled at her was, oh, he was, Joe. I think the only person that went off on her personally was John Boyega, okay? You know, she was the one that allowed Kelly Marie Tran to be treated badly, all right? If I'd have walked on that set on TLJ and seen Kelly Marie Tran dressed in a brown egg suit, I'd have been like, I want to talk to wardrobe about this character. And I would have gone off on Rian Johnson. Why? You have a pretty actress. Why are you making her look like a potato sack? Why are you doing this to her? And he would have come up with some stupid, artsy fartsy, you know, whatever. And I would have said, fix it. Fix it. She looks terrible. And you're gonna make her cannon fodder for the fans. Okay? Fix this. All right. The Melanie McFarlane thing is important because it shows how scared they are. Blake. They're terrified. They go after Geeks and Gamers and Ryan Cannell but they're missing the rest of us. Okay, they're missing the rest of us. You know, I got into an argument today with a woman who was getting into a fight with Ethan Van Sciver about domestic comic book sales, and they're terrible. And her delusions they're great. Yeah, if you're talking about independent. And when his next book comes out, it's going to go through the roof, right? It's the thing like this. Let's talk about a Star Wars analogy. Darth Vader facing Luke, knowing Luke's his son. The only person who's mentioned that to him out loud is the Emperor, okay? The son of Skywalker, okay? And when he says, "No, I am your father," then it's out loud, not to the Emperor. It's to Luke himself. And that's when it becomes real. Now, if this woman I was debating and finally blocked, because I was like, I've had it, Karen, go away, said out loud, DC and Marvel comic books are not doing well. The numbers prove it. Then it's real, okay? There have been other SGWs. Who's that woman with the hair like that and it's red with the big red lipstick and she looks just like a fucking bitch? I can't remember her name. And I don't think it was Anita Sarkeesian, but it might have been. But I don't think that was her. She basically admitted that the books aren't selling. And that was a while ago. That was more than a year ago, okay? The ones that are selling are independents, okay? Again, go to Ollie's. You can pick up a book for $4, and they used to be 17. You know, they used to be 17. Okay, thanks, Joe. In through one ear and out the other. If they say it out loud that it's not doing well, then they have to accept it. As long as they pretend that everything's fine, then they don't. Then everything is sunshine and unicorn farts. Okay? And what they should have done was Heir to the Empire, Chris. That wasn't Gail Simone. Gail Simone is a land whale. And this one is not. And it wasn't, who is the blue-haired land whale? Who was the one that used to get into fights and troll and attack Ethan to the point where he had a lawyer send a letter? Can't remember her name. But, she was fun. She was hilarious. But it's true. And I'll tell you something. Melanie McFarlane attacking the Phantom Menace is ignoring the bigger problem. And that's fandom's unhappiness with the sequel trilogy, with Marvel, with Toy Story, Renfamous, yep, that's right. Yeah, Blake, you're right, she did. I mean, look, women leads, all right, a Sex and the City movie, that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna work. And then you gotta do it right, okay? You can't just say, well, just put her in, everybody will like it. No, you don't. That's not how it works. But it's saying it out loud, okay? Just like when I say Kathleen Kennedy is a figurehead and she's leaving soon, again, when did she become president of Lucasfilm? October 31st, 2012. Her 10th anniversary is coming up October 31st, 2012. I want you guys to remember that. 10 years is a long run, all right? And honestly, I think that's the end of it. I really, really do. And again, she's the most powerful woman in Hollywood. Says who? A guy that's hasn't worked in Hollywood in 10 years? That's like me, you know, commenting about the inner workings of the speaker's office when I don't know anybody there. Or the inner workings of Kevin McCarthy's office when I don't know anybody there, and lost all my contacts when I got married. The network was gone. All right? So take the advice of somebody who hasn't worked in Hollywood in a long time, but ignore Cameron and me and others who are like, she's done. I mean, you know, ignore the fact that The Room, when you watched Star Wars Celebration and read The Room, it wasn't good for her. It wasn't. That's honest. I mean, again, I don't care what people are telling people. They're wrong. Okay? There's a reason why they're not in Hollywood anymore. Because yeah, I know, and there's nothing I can do about it, but thank you for saying that, and thank you for being a fan. You know, and it's time the fans got a little politically savvy, at least corporately savvy about what's going on, okay? So, I'm going to tell you guys, sit back, relax, and get ready, okay? And go back and watch Doomcock's video about what's about to happen at Disney. I mean, there's going to be people gone. It's, and I'm going to say, I think, you know, Cameron said it best. Chapek and Zaslav have switched parts. Zaslav, with allowing the stuff about Ezra Miller to come out now, has gone the Chapek route, and Chapek, by curb stomping Peter Rice, has gone the Zaslav route. Anyway, you get let not your hearts be troubled, because it's going to get better. We've got the good guys in charge now. Now we got to do is see how fast they go to change the direction. And again, it's going to take a while. Okay, it's going to take, you know, Andre said a couple years. So there's going to be a lot of garbage, and the Ryan Cannells of the world are going to be screaming, but ignore them. Well, the Acolyte is not going to happen. Okay, I don't, you know, they said on Star Wars Direct that it's now going to happen in October. Okay, what happens in October? It's Disney's fourth quarter, right? Final earnings call, all right? What happens in October? 10th anniversary of Kathleen Kennedy. All right. Could she be leaving? It's her 10th anniversary. Just putting it out there, guys. All right? Don't listen to people who don't understand. Go watch Cameron today talk about what was going on. All right? Read the Salon.com article and understand that Melanie McFarland is terrified that all this woke shit is going away, and blaming a very small contingent of a very, very large population of pissed off people. All right? This is Steph, signing off. I'll see you around the galaxy.